weren't working hard. It's not like people don't work hard. Everybody works hard. That's a given now. But what's the separator to where you become the maxed out version of you? See, the gifted golfer, they hit their 100 balls because they're supposed to. But the not so gifted one that ends up winning, they hit 101 or 110 or 120. I watched them on the driving range and you could hear them say, one more, one more. What's the difference between Kobe Bryant and other gifted NBA players when he played, or Michael Jordan when they played, or right now Kevin Durant, people tell me, or Steph Curry? They're constantly, when everyone else is done shooting in the gym, they say one more. Larry Bird was legendary for one more, one more. The people that would throw the passes to him, the ball guys in practice, say, he always wants more. He always wants more. The great hitters that I know, the Mike Trouts and MLB, they're gifted, but they just take a little more. They take that extra batting practice, that extra session. They're always doing extra. That's the separator. Like, you can learn all this stuff. You can digest all the tactics and information that I give out, but if you're not willing to do one more, eventually there's a part of you that says, maybe I don't deserve it. I'm just doing what everybody else is doing, and that's not good enough. It's not even good enough to do more than everybody else. It's your maxed out level. It's one more of everything. And so whether that's a phone call, an email, a text, an appointment, one more time you tell your spouse you love them. One more time you go in and kiss your children goodnight. One more hug of somebody. One more phone call. One more everything. I want your theme to be one more. Have I said that enough times for you today? So what's that really look like in application? Well, the second thing it does for you is you actually do more reps of whatever it is you're doing. And when we do more repetitions, we get better. And when we do more repetitions, we're more productive. So number one is the psychology part. If you're someone who's always doing things other people aren't willing to do, you always max out, you always go to the next level, you convince yourself you deserve to win. You can take low self-esteem, low identity, low confidence, and change it over time by building this habitual addiction to doing one more, this obsession of one more. All the greats do one more and all the average don't.
Let's go. All the greats do one more, all of the average don't. So true when it comes to ordinary and extraordinary, right? I've learned over the past couple of years, the difference just happens to be that little extra. So Roz and Sean family, ready to go ahead and take advantage of another blessed, beautiful day. Ending off this week strong. Today is Thursday. We are on the beginning of the month, November 3rd. Absolutely on fire already for this November to remember. So coming into today, our topic is going to be how to go ahead and leverage, right? And leverage is one of my favorite topics because when I truly learned what leverage is, how to go ahead and utilize it, how to go ahead and duplicate it, things started to change for the better. So today we're going to go ahead and deep dive into how to go ahead and use leverage, what it is, and how to go ahead and maximize it. So before we go ahead and dive in, as always, what is everybody grateful for today? Go ahead and drop it down below. Grateful to be alive, grateful for God, grateful for the mind, for the body, for the spirit, grateful for this beautiful day. As you can hear, the birds are chirping. I'll give you guys a little sneak peek. We got JT over there in the corner getting some work done, and it is absolutely beautiful over here today. So excited to go ahead and get through this month. So let's go. Drop it down below. What is everybody grateful for coming into today? And we are getting straight into today's topic. Let's go. All right, so family, today we are talking about how to go ahead and use leverage, how to go ahead and maximize it. So as we go ahead and get in today's topic, I want you to go ahead and think about, just leverage itself. Let's just go ahead and break leverage down, by itself, so you guys can truly see. This training is from Sean G. Murphy. And once again, he always brings the sauce. So I'm telling you right now, this is a message that if you really understand it at a deeper level, it's going to change the game for you. Ready? So let me go ahead and allow you guys to see essentially what leverage looks like. So let me see if I have any items over here that we can go ahead and utilize. Okay. So here we go. Leverage. Let's just say that we want to go ahead and leverage something, okay? Right here. Let's say we want to go ahead and create leverage. So how does leverage work? Okay, you have what's called a fulcrum right here at the bottom, okay? Now with a fulcrum, depending on where you put this, determines how strong the leverage is going to be. You see, if we want to go ahead and be able to lift this side, it's going to be really heavy trying to lift this because we don't have the leverage, right? But you see what happens when we move the fulcrum over here to the actual piece, we have a lot of leverage and it's easier to go ahead and lift this thing. So the same thing happens inside of our life, right? Being able to learn how to leverage things is going to absolutely change the game. Okay, so let's dive into it a little bit deeper than that, right? Let's go ahead and start thinking about it in this perspective. Okay, what is going to require you and I to go ahead and move the leverage point to get us closer to the end goal, to get us closer to what it is that we wrote down for the beginning of the month of November, coming in for the next 60 days, coming in to 2023. See, now we're starting to actually use this tactically because everything is about learning how to go ahead and pivot, how to go ahead and move the fulcrum. You see, during COVID, a lot of us realized that we can't be doing the same things and create different results, right? That was a time where people really got in the mode to understand that multiple streams of income is absolutely necessary when it comes into creating leverage. Okay, so that's number one. The second part I want you guys to think about, right? When we're moving the fulcrum, right, depending on how we move it, if you notice what's interesting, the closer that we actually move it to the point that we're looking to actually lift, right? Essentially, this is where we're getting actually closer to the challenge, but we're not actually getting hurt. You see, this is when we understand it at a better level. The only way that we can truly utilize leverage is to be able to get closer to the problem and find the solution. This is why when I started to understand this, life started to open up for me because if we're being honest, 1111 paint your vision. I used to run from certain things in my life, right? There were certain things I didn't want to go ahead and attack. Maybe it was going to the doctor, right? I was afraid to go ahead and figure out what was actually wrong until I said, you know what? Maybe I can keep wondering all day long, or I can just go ahead and go see what this code is and go get the right necessary things to go ahead and knock it out. So the same thing happens in our life. If you run from the problem, what happens with the problem? It ends up getting bigger and it stacks, and we have more problems that stack on top of each other, and now we become overwhelmed. So what problems do we have in our life that we can go ahead and move this fulcrum, move this leverage point to go ahead and attack the problem, find the solution, and now be able to move forward? You see, for a lot of us, we have weight on our shoulders right now. There's weight that's sitting, and for everybody, it's going to be different. But if you can sit down and think about how can we go ahead and move this leverage to go ahead and create the solution to this problem, let go of this weight, and now you can be free, that could be a phone call that you might need to make today. That could be that video that you've been waiting to start, that series that you've been waiting to go ahead and put out, that DM that you've been that's been on your chicken list that you've been afraid to reach out to. I don't know what that is. Creating your live account today, right? Locking in your TLX package to go ahead and make this trip over to Vegas for Pips on a Strip. I don't know what that is for you today, but take the time to really figure that out, because there's something that's going on right now that we can go ahead and just move, just pivot, just move this leverage point just a little bit to create enough space for us to be able to allow ourselves to go ahead and get on the tipping side to what it is that we're looking to do. Okay, so I want you to go ahead and think about it in a different way, right? To get more leverage, right? It's not about what we give and get, it's about what we move. Okay, I'm gonna say that again. To really maximize leverage, it's not about what we give and get, it's what we move. Sometimes we're so far away from the people that we don't actually get a chance to be able to actually move them. Now, what do I mean by that? This is why when I talk to you, when I teach you guys how to start really creating relationships, it starts with questions, right? Questions will take you anywhere that you want to go. But what happens is when we go out and do business and we're making these relationships, or we're getting on three ways, if you haven't taken the time to get close enough to them to ask the right questions to get the right answers, you're going to wonder why things start out awkward and they end awkward. Because the whole reason why it is that we're asking questions is to be able to find the problems so we can actually move that leverage point so they can actually see the solution to go ahead and take the action. This is it. This is all leverage is about. You see, at the beginning, I didn't have the results. I didn't have a lot of success. I wasn't making thousands in my trading account. I wasn't traveling all over the world. I wasn't speaking in front of hundreds of people. But you know what I was able to do? I was able to take the individuals that I was speaking with, and instead of being far away, I was able to go ahead and get closer to them by bringing them closer to a mentor, by bringing them closer to somebody that did have results, that did have the success. You see, at the beginning, I thought I had to have all of the success before I could even impact somebody else, until I realized people want to see two things. People want to see profits. Yes. People also want to see progress. That's why I love this morning's call, because it's so true, right? When you look at the three levels, we have improve, increase, and now we actually see the massive momentum, the huge influence. So it starts with taking the time to really improve ourselves, getting on these calls, taking the time to journal, taking the time to meditate. Matter of fact, drop your day down below. What day is everybody on? Day 97. This all plays a part in improving yourself. And guess what happens when you do these daily disciplines? You start hitting the gym. You start giving yourself a little bit better of self-talk. You have a little bit more confidence when you wake up. So you go ahead and you make that video. You start to get an increase, because there's nothing that we can do daily that we're not going to get better at. So you start to increase all these aspects of your life, your connection with your creator, your belief in yourself. So all of these is huge when it comes down to being able to leverage, because when you become the best version of yourself, you're going to inspire others to do the same. And this is how you start really maximizing leverage, because we can talk to people all day long, but if we're not doing the inner work, guess what? They're not going to listen. You know why? Because people watch our feet more than they listen to what it is that we say. So I had to get out of people's ears. I had to get out of just talking all day long, and I had to start walking it like I was talking it. And as they saw me develop into a better person, they started to realize, like, wow, I actually want to get up earlier. I want to actually start taking notes and getting my gratitude. I want to see what these calls are about. I want to go and actually hit the gym today. This is how you start really creating leverage. This is the power of leverage, right? So I want to go ahead and give you guys something to think about in a different perspective. Okay, there's two types of lenses that we can view this from. Okay, most people, when it comes to success, when it comes to being able to really maximize the power of leverage, right? Most people, they don't understand this. Okay, there's two attachments that we can have to success, right? And this is big. If you can really catch this, pay attention. There's two attachments that we can have towards success. Number one is going to be emotional. We can have an emotional attachment towards success, and we can also have a materialistic attachment to success. But you know what's interesting about that? The materialistic, this is the side that most people have. And just like as Nena was talking about even earlier, if we're not happy at the beginning, before anything happens, forget about it. Success is going to be very difficult. That's even number one. But number two is, even once these materialistic things even manifest, they get old. The watch ends up becoming just like a watch. The car ends up becoming just like a car. The house ends up becoming just a house. That's so true, because I've seen it for so many of my mentors over and over the years. And there's a reason why some end up going back broke again, because their personal development, it never matched their income. Their income, they might have got lucky and it jumped a little bit, but if the personal development, if the mindset never matches, it's always going to go back to the same spot. So I always wanted to make sure that I was taking the time to really get on my mindset side of success. Forget about the materialistic side. I wanted to learn the emotional side of success, because that's where it really happens. And I don't mean emotional as in, going through all of the emotions. I mean creating an emotional attachment to what it is that we're doing, an emotional attachment to the daily process. Because here's what I know. Any memory, I want you guys to think about this. Okay, think about this for a second. Let's visualize for a second. I want you to think about one of the most blissful memories that you can think of. What's a memory right now that just makes you smile, that literally just makes your arms and your fingers start tingling and vibrating because you were so excited? It was such a blissful and amazing moment. It could be graduation. It could be an award that you won. It could be a race that you actually finished, right? I don't know. Think about what that thing is for you. But let me ask you this. Why do you remember that moment so vividly? Why do you remember that moment so vividly? You know what the answer is? It's real simple. You had an emotional attachment. I had an emotional attachment getting out of college because I put so much energy, I put so much time, I put so much effort into what I was doing. So by the time that I got out, I was very emotional, right? The same thing happens with success. When you become very emotional with it, you're going to be willing to take the actions, to do what's necessary to go out and actually make it happen. Hitting P150 in Miami for sure, right? So when you actually dig deep with emotion, think about something that you're passionate about and tell me you didn't have emotion when you were doing it. That's where the magic happens. You see, a lot of us, you're not seeing the success that you might want because you haven't gotten deep enough emotionally. You haven't taken the time to even figure out what is success to you. In a dream world, if money was not an issue, what would you be doing? Where would you be traveling? How would you be helping your family? What are the things that they desire so you could actually be able to help them out? Some of us have never even taken the time to think about this. This is why my name is Define Dreams, because I realized that not many people have taken the time to actually define their own dreams. So this is huge. I'm telling you, this is a training that if you really take hold of this, you're going to be able to do some damage with it. So think about it like this, okay? Let me give you guys last perspective to think about it before I end off today's call, okay? How can we move the fulcrum today so that effort becomes effortless? You see, because you know what the truth is? The climb is going to be huge. The mountain is huge that we have to climb no matter what. There's going to be obstacles. There's going to be trials. There's going to be there's going to be things that we have to jump over. But you know what's interesting? If you change the way you see things, the way we see things will change. What about if we looked at it as it's a beautiful hike? It's a beautiful journey that has obstacles, that has rough patches, but on the way, it's a beautiful view. You see, we become frustrated a lot of the times when we're not present in the moment. When we're present in the moment, things immediately change. If you're present in this moment right now, you're not thinking about what was wrong yesterday, what happened last month. You're not worried and stressed about the future, about you don't have this, you don't have that. If you can be present right here, right now with me, and just like we say all the time, to be able to say today's the day, November 3rd, that I draw the line in the sand, that I'm ready to step in the best version of me. Because when you become present, you allow yourself to progress. When you become present, you allow yourself to progress, because you know what's happening? You're now in preparation. If you haven't noticed, however we prepare for things is huge. Let me ask you this. Before you went to a big, it could be anything. Before you went to a big party, before you went to a big basketball game, a big sporting event, something that you were excited to go to, what were you doing? What were you doing on the car ride there? What were you doing in the house? Were you blasting music? Were you with your friends? Were you guys really ecstatic? You see, because however we prepare for things, this is a lot of time what determines the end result. So let me ask you this right now. How are you preparing for success? As if you're going to a big outing, a big game, something that you were really excited to go to and you're fired up every day? Or is it something that you feel like you have to wake up and it's like, yo, damn, I got to do this again? It's another day that I have to wake up and I have to do all these different things? There's two sides that you can look at it. And however way that you choose to go ahead and make it happen is everything. Like for you females on the call, when you make your favorite dish, when you make some of your favorite foods, when you cook, do you put some certain type of music on so you guys are dancing in the kitchen, you're getting it as you're going? That's because you're in the right preparation mode. So if I ask you today, how is your preparation for success? Are you excited about it? Are you dancing? Because if I were to give you one big tip for today, the reason why a lot of people call you crazy, they say, oh, you might be doing that thing, it doesn't make sense what you're doing, is because they cannot hear your music. They see you dancing, they see you excited every day, but they might not be able to hear your music. And this is a part of entrepreneurship. You got to be willing to accept this, because not everybody's going to be able to see your vision, but you are going to become magnetic to the right ones that do. So huge. Okay. And the last thing I want to go ahead and end you guys off with this. Ready? I want you to go ahead and ask yourself this question. Am I emotionally attached to success, or am I materially attached to success? Because you can't emotionally manifest in a material world. And I want to give you guys one of the biggest things that I learned this morning that really created the aha movement to end it all. You know what he said? He said, when you're focused on the material side, you lose your creative side. You know why? Because if we had $1 million, we would all probably spend it really quick, because we would buy things. And now we're happy for a week, we're happy for a month because we got the house, and then it fades away. So the truth is, how can we really get in the emotional side? Because we cannot emotionally manifest in materialistic world. There's limits. It's limited. There's no limits when you start to tap into your conscious side, right? So, family, this is my training for you guys today, and put it in perspective. If the laws of the universe, if this drops 10 out of 10 times, right? If we know that's true, then so is all of the other laws that we learn all the time. Right? The law of attraction, the law of gestation, right? Everything takes time. The law of rhythm, the law of polarity. All of these things, if we know it worked yesterday and it's going to work today, Some things you just have to realize it's not going to happen right away. Okay, learning all of these skill sets, learning all of this mindset, it's a rewire. It's a whole personal undevelopment process. But here's what I could tell you: time is either going to promote or expose us. So that's why I tell you guys, take these sessions very seriously, whether it's the go lives, whether it's your mentorship, whether it's reading the books. Be present when you're doing what you're doing, because I'm telling you, every day that we lay each brick, every activity that we're doing with a purpose, with intention, is adding up, whether you think about it or not. So family, that's my training for you guys today. I have nothing but love for every single one of you, but just understand, if nobody told you, I believe in you. I'm so happy. I'm so grateful for all the abundance that is flowing to and through you. We are expecting and we are getting miracles. Go out and have a great day, family. It is your favorite entrepreneur, Define Dreams. Remember, we can be, do, or have anything that we can hold in our mind, we can hold right here in our head. Get to work, family. Same time. Have a great day. Get to it.